In this video, I will be opening this power station to fix a few issues that I'm having with it. I did buy this power station refurbished. I only had 1 year warranty. It's a Pecron E2000 LFP. I have the old model. They do have a new model out. One of the issue I am having with this unit, one side of the MPPT is charging under 100 watt when it should be closer to 600 watt. As you can see, it's only taking in 84 watt on this side. And when I switch it to the other side, it should work properly. And this side is working perfectly. So the plan is to take everything apart and replace the MPPT. Because I did not have any warranty, the manufacturer wanted me to pay shipping both ways and they would fix it. But shipping was very expensive, so I asked them to send me the part instead. Eventually, they agreed to send me all the parts that are necessary to fully repair the unit. Before I started working on the unit, I thought it was a good idea to fully discharge the battery. Another issue I am having with this unit, once the battery percentage gets to around 12, it drops rapidly and shut down within seconds. The manufacturer also sent me the control board that should take care of this issue. Now the battery is fully discharged. Let's start taking this unit apart. I use a hex bit 2.5 to remove the first screw at the top. It's the only hex screw on this device. Then I started removing some of those orange corners to access the fastener. All the remaining fastener on this unit are Phillips screws, which is really nice. It makes it really easy to take apart. I was removing this part the wrong way. I was supposed to pull up instead of pulling outward. The manufacturer used a red flexible adhesive to keep the connector from coming apart. I am using a small flathead screwdriver to take the adhesive out first, then I will be able to pull out those connectors. There are a total of 7 connectors I have to take out from those boards. Then I swap the MPPT connector to see if it would work on the opposite side. Then I plug everything back together to test it. After plugging in the AC charger, it does not charge above 100 watt. Then I tape the defective MPPT with a black tape. After that, finishing removing the remaining connector to take this piece out completely. Here are the wires that go to the AC outlet. The red and the black are 12 gauge wire and the yellow is a 16 gauge wire. Using a razor blade, I was able to carefully scar the heat shrink tube, then remove them. That allowed me to disconnect the AC wires. Now I can start taking out those screws to get inside of the unit. All those orange corners on the back side of the unit have to come out. The label on the back of the unit also have to come out because there are 3 fasteners under it. I use a heat gun to take it out. Then I use a small flathead screwdriver to take out all those plastic caps to access the fastener. I had to make a quick trip to the hardware store because I did not have a screwdriver long enough to access those fasteners. I was getting ready to lift up this back cover, but I noticed I forgot to take out one of the plastic cap. So I did that really quick and take out the last fastener. Then I was able to pull out the back cover. First thing I did when I got inside of the unit, I disconnect the battery wire, then I tape them with electrical tape. Then I pull the fan housing out, then I disconnect the wire that's coming from the MPPT. Then I thought it would be a better idea to take out the wireless charging pad out first. Then I was able to take the fan housing out and disconnect the two wires that control the fan. Here's the first one right here, and the other one is right next to it. I just disconnect those. Those fan connectors also have the red adhesive on them. I carefully removed them. Then I was able to unplug the wires. Then I pulled the AC wire out of the way. Now I am unscrewing the metal strap that hold down the battery. It also attached to the main board. Before I could take it out, I noticed there's a sensor wire that go to the MPPT. I also have to unplug. It's next to the fans wire I previously unplugged. After removing the red adhesive, I was able to unplug it. Now I am able to take out this metal strap with the main board. I decided to take the metal strap completely off the main board because it couldn't sit properly. Now I can lift out the battery and access the MPPT. This is how everything looks for now. The battery in this unit weighs 29 pounds and 7 ounces. It also have the spec on the battery and the manufacturer date. I never opened the MPPT the manufacturer sent me until this video. They are connected together. I thought I would be able to replace just the defective one, but I have to replace it as a set. I will still save this one just in case I need it in the future. I can always cut the wire and solder them together if I have to do that. I am surprised to see that the MPPT have heatsink with fan on top of them to cool them down. I was not expecting to see that. That is a total of 6 fans this power station have. There are a total of 8 fasteners holding down both MPPT. This is the sensor plug that was connected to the main board. And here's the sensor right here I have to remove because I have to reuse this one. They did not send me a new one. I was very careful when I was removing the sensor because I do not have a replacement. I was able to successfully remove it, then place it on the new MPPT in the exact same spot. Then I place the new MPPT in the plastic housing, then feed the MPPT wire to the hole. Then screw down the MPPT with the 8 fastener. I think the manufacturer could have done a better job designing this power station, providing a front access to remove those MPPT instead of taking all those parts out just to replace them. Now let's put the battery back in place. On the inside, I think those are XT60 connector, and they do have a lot of them inside. I'm not sure why Pecron didn't use the same thing for the solar charging port instead of the aviation style plug. I believe the E3600 LFP that came out summer 2024 have XT60 connector for solar charging. So that is a step in the right direction. It would be nice to see all future devices from them have the XT60 connector for solar charging. As you can see, the main board have two massive heatsink with fan to cool them down, with two transformer in the middle. They place capacitor inside of the heatsink to cool them down more efficiently. I noticed the main battery cover was getting caught from a metal piece. That is not a good thing. I could feel it with my nail. I put a few layers of electrical tape from the part that was causing the issue. I think that should have been an easy fix from manufacturer by slightly bend the metal. Or put a round bevel in that area to protect the battery wire. After placing the main board down, I put down the metal strap that was holding the battery and fasten it into place. Then I plug the sensor wire that's coming from the MPPT board. Now I'm passing the AC wire through the hole coming from the main board. Take the external fan housing and connect the wire coming from the MPPT board to it. Take the XT60 connector coming from the external fan housing and pass it through. Then place the external fan housing into place. Be careful not to bend any wire. Now I am going to replace the control board that should take care of the battery percentage. There are a total of 6 fasteners that have to be removed along with one connector. Now I can take out the defective control board and place in the new one. And here's a closer look of the electrical tape that I place in to better protect the battery wires. Now I am getting ready to fasten down the battery cable to the main board. There are also a red and black wire coming from the external fan housing that need to fasten down with those battery cable. Those give you the option to add external battery to your unit. After fastening down the two red wire, do the same for the black. I could have used a pre-charge resistor for that if I had one. From the external fan housing, there will be those two wires that control the fan. We have to plug them back in this main board. One of the plug go here and the other one go on the other side right here. After placing them in, I use this flathead screwdriver to push them all the way into place. This wire is also coming from the external fan housing. Pass it through the opening. Pass through the wire for the wireless charging pad and then place the charging pad into place. Then screw it in with the two fasteners. Now I am plugging in the AC wire that go to the outlet. Then I plug in the MPPT wire. Then this connector coming from the external fan housing. Then those two connectors coming from the main board. This XT60 connector also coming from the external fan housing. The last connector go to the wireless charging pad. Now I just wanna test to see if the power station is working before I fully assemble it. It turned on, that is a good sign. Let's see if the MPPT is fixed. Remember before it did not charge above 100 watt. I think that is a success. It looked like it's settling around 510 watt. The battery is low. I don't think it will charge to full capacity when it's that low. It does the same thing when it's close to fully charged. And the other side is also working properly. One thing I did wrong, two of those AC wires have to pass through the lower compartment and one pass to the upper compartment to be able to put the space back properly. If not, you're gonna have a hard time putting it back. And I did use electrical tape on those AC wires to keep it together. If you have heat shrink tube, that would be better. And now I'm starting to add the fastener back into place. I did a quick check again before I put it back together. Everything seemed to be working fine. Now I'm just tidy up the AC wire a little bit before I can put the plastic housing back. Now let's put back the fastener back into place. I really like that Pecron used Phillips screw to put this unit together. It only have one hex screw. That means if you need to service your unit and replace a defective part, that make it really easy if you know what you're doing. Portable power station company should give customer the option to buy parts straight from them. Just like me, if you run out of warranty, you will have the option to get parts and get your power station fixed. I bought this power station in May 2023. That's how I got into powering my house with solar. Coming from not knowing anything at all about solar energy, that was an easy way to get into it. If you are intimidated like I was about solar energy and you can find a good deal on power station, buying one can be a good way to get into the door. But once you start adding expansion battery, I think you will be better off building your own system instead of buying those battery because they can get expensive. And if you are in the market for solar equipment, consider using Signature Solar. They got competitive price. You can get $50 off on any purchase over $500 when you use code TALENTEDDAD. I do make a small commission when you use code TALENTEDDAD. Link in the description. Thank you very much for anyone who used my code. I really appreciate it. I already checked the AC outlet with the space heater and it's working. Now I'm checking the DC side to make sure it's also working. If you are interested in seeing more solar stuff, go to my channel, click on solar shed. You can see how I build a shed, install solar panel on top of it, run the solar wire from the shed to the basement, install battery and much more. Again, this is the area where the MPPT located inside of the power station. I think a front compartment would make it a lot easier to just swap them out. The following morning was really cloudy, but I did get a chance to test the power station with 2 old solar panels, and both MPPT was pulling over 100 watt. This was a learning experience for me. Not knowing what I was doing took me a lot longer. If I was doing it again, it will go a lot faster and smoother. I hope someone will find this video helpful. Thank you very much for coming to my channel. Have a good one.